Hi everyone. Uh, well, on more positive news, what have I been up to lately? Well, end of July, I went and I spoke at the Women in Mining and Resources Summit. That was over at the Pan Pacific, and I spoke on a panel. I can't remember the name of the panel. I'm bad at remembering names for stuff. It was a diversity panel. I mean, it was the Women in Mining and Resources Summit, so I guess the whole thing was diversity. But this one was diversity plus plus. We were talking about people of color and First Nations people. That's a big deal in the mining industry. And LGBT, trans and non binary, and also disability and neurodiversity. I met some really great people there, both on the panel and then later on when I got to talk to some of the other attendees. And I've met some people from going to that conference that gosh, really interesting people. So I'm so glad I got to go to that. And I'm going to another conference end of September, the Women in Mining WA conference. And that one's going to be over at the convention center, but my friends and me, I'll call it the convention shed. It's going to be down there, and I'm not speaking at this one, but I will be attending. I was invited to sit on the BHP table, which I'm very excited about, because it's kind of a big deal. For me, anyway. It's something that thrills me. So, I guess in a way I'll kind of be representing BHP, but not like representing BHP. Anyway, so if any of you are going to be there, you grab me and let's talk sometime. But so doing that conference stuff, and then also well, just today I went and I met with my friend Jenny. Hi Jenny. I know she watches my videos. I met with my friend Jenny, who works at the Awesome Festival. She runs the whole gosh darn thing. And I'm really excited about that because I'm going to be going to the Awesome Festival this year, obviously, go every year. But I'm going to be her special guest this year. And we're going to, I'm not super sure what we're going to do yet. And I think some of it is to be revealed. So I don't want to talk too much because I'm blabbermouth. But I'm really excited about that. Some of the stuff that she was telling me about, it sounds really freaking cool, you guys. I think this is going to be the best Awesome Festival ever. But again, I'm a huge fan, so I'd probably say that about every year, you know? And in particular, it sounds like they've really gone above and beyond to make sure that this year's program is accessible for disabled folks, disabled kids, and parents alike, and also accessible for neurodivergent children and parents and families and such, which I think is just so great. There's so much of the world that really cuts us out of it. Just makes it so we can't even turn up, much less have a good time. And I know Jenny is a big believer in accessibility in the arts. And it's something that brings joy to so many people and helps them find meaning in their lives. And it sucks how much of it is inaccessible. But not the Awesome Festival. Awesome, it's in the name. And it makes me think of back before I came to be working at BHP, as a lot of you will know, I was on Centrelink. And I had been on Centrelink for a good 10 years at that point. And it super sucked. Do not recommend. But that's a whole nother conversation. But when you're on Centrelink and you can't find a job because no one wants to hire you, you have a lot of free time on your hands, and you got to find a way to fill that, or the boredom will drive you nuts just sitting at home staring at the wall. So what I used to do a lot of, living here as I do in the Perth CBD, is I'd go take a bus down the street over to the malls, Hay Street Mall and Murray Street Mall, and I'd just hang out. I'd get a cheap drink from somewhere. You know, I knew where to get a $1 can of cola. I knew where to get cheap drink, and I'd, you know, sit on a bench somewhere and I'd listen to the buskers. I used to know a whole bunch of them. Not personally, I'm too shy to introduce myself. I don't really want to talk, but I wanted to listen. And my personal favorite one was a man who called himself Groovosaurus, because he played really funky, groovy music. And I guess he was a bit shy or some such, because he always used to wear a dinosaur mask over his face. Groovosaurus. And I used to listen to his set all the time. He and I have similar tastes in music, apparently. I'm quite into funk, and into to city pop kind of stuff. What did he play? He played a lot of Gorillaz, a lot of Daft Punk, and he had an electric guitar and a looping pedal and a microphone that was built out of a telephone, so it kind of made his voice sound sort of smoky. And I hope he gets back into busking at some point, because I do miss him. I haven't seen him in a while. But I used to go, and I used to just sit and listen to the buskers, and I couldn't always tip them, but I tried to tip them a $5, because I'm a big believer in supporting your local musicians. You know, if you don't put cash in a busker's tray, then one day there won't be any buskers. I remember I got into a conversation with him one time about music, and I said, oh, I noticed you were playing a song by New World Order. Do you like them? If you like Blue Monday, you should check out my favorite song of theirs, which is Impossible Love Triangle. And it's really, really cool, and you should check it out. And I just, you know, go listen to it sometime. You might like it. And then several weeks later, I was listening to him, and he said, "Hey, stay, don't leave. Listen." And so I was going to do that anyway. And I sat and I listened. And then he finished his song, and then he said, here's a song I learned recently. And he played what is my favorite version now of Impossible Love Triangle, which is actually kind of a hard song to do on a guitar. I didn't mean for him to learn it. There's some really fast patterns in it that, well, he pulled it off, and it sounded great. I wish I had recorded it or something. But it meant so much to me, because at that point, I was just sort of spending time on the earth, waiting for the world to turn. And it made some really crummy days better. And there's been other times in my life where different forms of art have really meant a lot to me. So I think, perhaps even more than some other areas, I think it's really important that the arts be accessible. So I'm really looking forward to this year's Awesome Festival. And I hope that you'll come check it out. Anyone can go, even if you don't have kids. There's plenty of people without kids who go to the Awesome Festival. They don't, you know, age or height check you or something. You can still go. But if you do have kids, I would encourage you all the more to come to the Awesome Festival, and show your kids the Awesome Festival. I still remember when I was a kid and I went to the Awesome Festival. I still remember some of the art installations that I saw there. I was talking to Jenny about one of them, and she's like, oh yeah, I know that one. Because she's run it for so long, she probably knows the whole thing upside down and backwards. But it means so much, and it can mean so much. Your kid is never too young for art, and it's never too young for that art to make a difference to it. So, yeah, Awesome Festival. I'm really looking forward to it this year. Maybe I'll get another cute t-shirt.